Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript Party. My buddy Rhett, here's a nut. There you go, you're welcome. She said it very quietly, but she said thank you. Thank you. She is a hilarious bird. So I am in like such an interesting mental place with this project right now because um the um unit tests are just failing, right? Like they're just failing and literally I have them like isolated to where there's only one suite being executed and only one um, specification in it, and the specification is trivial. It just says, "Hey, I expect one to be um, one to be truthy," and that is like should pass. And um, the so it should ignore everything else, um, and then and just run these two and should pass, but it's not. And there's just no telling what that's about, but I'm pretty sure that there's some sort of functionality, like, well, probably 50-50 right now. I think that there's like when it's trying to build things out, that it must build something behind the scenes, and whatever it's trying to do behind the scenes, it's not able to do. Um, and and it's like making an error that would typically prevent it from even launching, but for some reason it's getting through to the launch and saying that it can't find app update layout service, even though there is absolutely no test like I've isolated the tests in the suites so that they're not even trying to find um, the layout, right? So they're not even trying to find it. Um, Now I remember when we first kind of started this, there was a single, like actually some of them passed. Now that I think about it, so that would be interesting. But and then this area error is so um like it doesn't really explain. It just says that it can't find this uh app layout service, but that yeah, it says no provider found, but it doesn't really say why it was trying to find it. It's just saying that um like this injector compatibility TypeScript. Apparently there's like I can't tell. I think this must be a I'm guessing that this is yeah, I don't even know. This is weird. Um, but I'm guessing that this is a Karma Jasmine, one of their libraries, and it's supposed to work. But for some reason, it's like looking for this app service, even though none of my tests are even trying to do it. And I don't even think the tests are even trying to create anything, right? Right? Like we aren't even trying to create a component or anything. We literally are just trying to run the test, and um, it just can't. And I feel like I might have this is one of those things where like I know that like ChatGPT will either instantly very quickly be able to oh, this is interesting. I just noticed this. Karma Jasmine node module Jasmine core. So this I think is where the problem is happening. It's in this jasmine.js, it looks like. Uncaught error, describe with no children. Ah, error during loading. Okay, so that's actually pretty clear. See, it's so wild how stuff can be right in front of your face and you not even see it. So it says error during loading, uncaught error, describe with no children. App layout component. Okay, so that might just be complaining that, yeah, so it looks like it's just complaining that it thinks I don't have any tests. And I think that's probably a false positive because a false failure because it does have a test. So it's just something's dying before it can figure out that it has a test. right? There is a test. It's a trivial test. It just says expect one to be truthy. Children. Yeah, so I think those are what people like to call red herrings. It's just a distraction. I think this is the problem. EE inject. I think that's a theta. Theta theta inject. Okay, so I'm just gonna like kind of I don't know what to do. I feel like I need to kind of be careful with the way I quite put this question. I feel like okay, so A, there may not be an answer. If there's no answer, ChatGPT will act like there's an answer. That's when ChatGPT tends to hallucinate, is when there is no answer. Um, so okay, so I recently started adding scoped services to my Angular 22 project. Um, so basically, the service is injected into a parent component, and then all of the children use that service. So it is not a singleton. It has a boundary. All right, so I'm just kind of laying the groundwork because I just uh, okay. So this is good. I think it knows exactly what I'm saying. I think it agrees. Boundary's a good term. I would think it's a good term because I got it from ChatGPT. So okay, so now my Jasmine Carmen slash karma is erroring immediately after building. Um, and then I'm going to try to pick out the very best error message. I think this is the best part. And then paste that. Ah, so usually something failing during DI, then rather than inject being the problem, since you recently introduced the component scope, it's mostly you're testing a child component by itself. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Matter what the test is. Fails. So like, and I'll just be like, maybe I'll give it my mark, like this is the only test. Trying to run. This test, problem isn't your component or your scope. It means that Jasmine is failing while loading your application in the local test environment. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Do not just when you read something like these responses, don't just take it at its word. You've got to like say, okay, does this make sense? And this was actually what I was thinking before we even asked. So almost slowly, not the beginning. It should be something like, okay, top level of a file. So it thinks that at some point. Oh, okay. So that's kind of cool. So it looks like they've finally updated to the latest code because now this is the first time I've seen it reference at service. I don't think I ever do this, but it is possible. Did I create a signal outside? Okay, yes. Okay, so one. One, yes. Two, dot. And I'll hit enter while I'm holding the shift button down. And I'm going to give it this whole stack trace as it asked for. And I will tell you this, I would much rather be trying to figure this out in this environment that I'm in right now than like if I was working and trying to figure out why we can't. This isn't saying that your test can't find the service, it's saying the Angular is instantiating starts up. That's the component is trying to inject since you creates any components almost always means one of these is happening. The app component imports app layout component to without the parent that provides a service, Angular throws inside of its provider boundaries. I don't have an update layout 2 or 2. I don't even have that. I don't think that exists. Um, I don't think I even have this. Let me just see if this exists anywhere in the code base. So it's saying that it's trying to install like trying to implement app update layout toolbar component 2, which I do not think exists in the code base. Yeah. Okay, so this does not exist. Not exist in the code base. And that it's never existed. Angular does not invent. Okay. App layout viewer component. So I wonder if this exists. Yeah. So exists. See, I don't think it's anything to do with anything in the component. No, I copied and pasted the actual. Pasted the actual error. Now this exists. To is formatting the component name. Cannot inject layout service to app layout toolbar. The next thing I check in app is how are you injecting the service? I don't think that one uses that service. App. Oh yeah, it does. So like this. So it's complaining about this happening, which makes sense, but has the service providers. Uh, so that error means Angular's creating an update somewhere not underneath the parent component. Since your test isn't creating anything and I don't think it's a problem, then the Angular bootstrap. Yeah, so we're back to what I thought originally again, that during the bootstrap process, something is failing to another standard. It's rendered without, is app imported into another standard? No, it's two. All right, so we'll try this again. So it's saying, hey, temporarily change it to a provided in root, and then see what happens. Being instantiated. Okay, so I think it is. I think that is the truth. Okay. I'm out of time today, but continue. All right. So this is a good place. So we're trying to figure this out. I think that if we do figure out, it's going to be a good thing. It wouldn't surprise me if we can't figure this out and just have to abandon Jasmine Karma, but I think we could probably figure it out. Yeah, I feel more optimistic now than I did this morning. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye.